So thank you, Nayr, for agreeing to do this talk with us. And you just finished your plenary, growing up being multilingual.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about how children manage their multiple languages?
Well, I think children usually choose the language they speak depending on the person that they're speaking to, the situation they're in, and sometimes the experiences that they have in these languages. So children are quite aware of the fact that they won't be speaking certain languages with certain people. Mm-hmm. Like in the school context, they will speak the language of the school. At home, they would then switch to the home language in order to talk with their parents. If they go back to the home country, they will use another language in order to communicate with the grandparents. So they're very much aware of that. And but experience is also important, and that's something that they also say. Uh-huh. So certain experiences occur in certain languages. When they talk about food, when they talk about holidays in a different country, that's when they say that they then switch to their languages. So I think person, place and experience is actually quite important for them.
Okay, and they don't get to mix up anything at all, do you think?
No, it's not. I think sometimes we hear about children becoming confused, and I really don't like that word, and I don't think multilinguals get confused with their languages. I think when they mix their languages, they choose to mix their languages. Right. So it isn't a matter of using these, suddenly they're speaking all four languages at the same time, and they're not aware of it. They are. So when they would be speaking their four languages at the same time, they would be speaking to someone who can actually speak those four languages as well.
Right, okay. Do you find at times that they might search for lexis or vocabulary and maybe switch from one language to the other or something like that?
They do. I think we need to remember that when an individual speaks four languages, you're not going to actually have the same experience in every single language all the time. Okay. So I think children, individuals, working between four languages experience certain aspects of their lives in certain languages and not in other languages. Okay. So I think multilinguals are very much aware that they would not have the vocabulary to talk about certain things in another language. It does become difficult for them because they suddenly realize, thinking, oh, what's that word, that word, and it won't come, and sometimes they don't know the word. I would probably say that is one of the disadvantages of bilingualism, is that trying to find the right words to speak about an experience.
Uh-huh. But that sometimes can happen in your own language anyway, yes. I think if you're monolingual. Yes. But you mentioned as well that you also are multilingual.
Yes, I was born and brought up in South Africa, so I had Portuguese at home and English and Afrikaans at school. And then I picked up French as a foreign language in school. So I think by the end of my school career, I could speak, read and write four languages, obviously to various different degrees, because I also went to a Portuguese heritage language school because my parents wanted me to learn to read and write Portuguese. Okay. But that was normal. I mean, we never talked about it. It wasn't a big deal. I think it became a big deal when I came to Europe. And suddenly, everyone was telling me, oh my goodness, you're bilingual. And I thought, oh, well, maybe I am. So it was quite normal. I think it depends on the context you're in. And I think it was because in Europe, it was such an exceptional phenomenon that I became interested in studying multilingualism.
Okay, because I noticed in your talk, you were talking about places like Switzerland where people speak the four languages. But you also mentioned France as well. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're saying?
I think France is quite a contradiction in itself. It's a highly multilingual society in certain places. I mean, Paris is obviously an example. And I think in some researchers have actually found in certain cities over 20% of the population actually speaks a different language at home. However, it's not very much in the public sphere. Right. And obviously in France, French is the one official language. Right. Even though we know that loads of people speak many different languages in the French in France. So it's more a matter of getting to the point where especially children's different languages are recognized. In the school system or outside the school system in order to value them. and in order to help them to learn their languages.
Okay, and you mentioned your own child as well as how this is...
Yes, he's actually even more, I would say, of a multilingual than I am. I would say the first years of my life were monolingual because I spoke Portuguese at home, and that's always been my home language with my parents. But my son was brought up bilingual right from the start because I would speak English to him. He was born in Portugal, so the rest of the community was speaking in Portuguese to him.
Okay.
And then he has an Egyptian dad, so there's Arabic in the background. He moved to France at age 5, and he picked up French. So he had all these languages quite from a very young age, actually.
Okay. And have you noticed anything being here in Spain about multilingualism?
Well, I think being in the Basque Country is brilliant because obviously there is a big movement for supporting the regional language, which I think is really important. And people actually speak the regional language.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really interesting to see the mayor and various different other people at the at the start of the conference actually switching between English, Basque, and Spanish, and doing it quite easily and doing it quite comfortably because it's actually okay to speak all those languages.
Yeah. Oh, well, great. Well, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.